Welcome back to the Chateaubriant Bowling Centre. And welcome back to our stepladder final here at the 2010 Bowling Promotion Cup, a new venture in the world of 10-pin. Now this young man, Phil Hulst, we think he's probably got a bit of a future in this sport. Just 20 years of age, Dutch national team member for several years now, having been a national team youth member.
Just left a solid 9-pin off of a pretty good pocket hit. Takes his spare out hard and straight, and there was a great deal of rotation on his first ball, so it's going to be interesting to see this young man take on the Russian.
Up steps Victor, 41 years of age. Another Russian team member, as you would suspect, but also one of the brains behind the Russian Federation in terms of developing the whole of the Russian bowling system.
He only managed 185 in the first match, but turned out to be a winner. Unfortunately, that ball has got caught up in some lane oil and has hurried on by.
Well, gave it a go, got a bit of a mix on the pins, but Messenger didn't quite get across. But you can see that end on camera, Cass, is really showing us the ball getting caught up in the oil. And you can see it's trying to force its way back, and the oil's keeping it straight.
That's right, yeah, it's starting to aquaplane. There's 40 feet of oil. As I say, we're not quite sure what quantity of oil there is there, but as I say, it's equal across gutter to gutter. So whether there's going to be some hook, it will be consistent. And it's just a matter of whether these players can be consistent, and then that's the way they're going to have to beat this lane.
Well, we haven't seen Sergei Andreev bowl before, the Russian who's awaiting the winner of this one in match 3. But on what we've seen so far from Phil Hulst, and of course what we know about the PBA star Michael Hagen Jr., those two guys would have the strength to rip it through this oil, whereas the other bowlers are having to be tremendously accurate, because once the oil has got them, it's taking that ball away. Not the best start from Victor.
I know it sounds a bit repetitious to keep saying that, but that's the 3 things you really need. Get that ball coming off the break point.
Well, he really fizzed
pretty much
one.
like that. Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Got the headpin coming across as well as the Messenger. It's a great looking shot. You can see the rotation on the ball, and it just bites up because it's a pretty powerful shot.
And in terms of the changing condition on this particular flat oil pattern, what are we going to see? Are we going to see oil taken down towards the pins equally?
It certainly looks as though there is a heavy amount of oil there, so you will get the ball carrying down. You notice the players, every time they get up, they use a cloth to wipe the ball. Well, that's actually wiping off the lane oil that the ball's picked up on the previous shot. So they'll need a clean surface ball for their next shot, and just hope that it comes off nicely. As I say, when it gets to 40 feet, comes off the tapered oil and snaps up in the back end, the last 20 feet. And that's a perfect looking shot. Great example of what I was just trying to say. He's found the line, he's got the speed right and the rotation right, and that was a great looking shot. And that's the first double of the match for Phil Hulst.
He's enjoying himself here. Don't think Victor's feeling the same. No, he's just struggling for pace and rotation at the moment.
Yeah, 210 split. The ball's just hurried on past. Didn't quite have enough power, but that's a pretty good try. And unfortunately, just didn't get across, did it? Just laid dead in the gutter. It's an open frame.
Just starting to interact with the crowd. And there's a strike for Victor. And so we've talked about this before, Cass, but the person that manages to develop the lane oil that we at home can see via our TV coverage, but the bowlers can't see, is going to make themselves a few quid, because that will be fascinating to see where this oil's going, where it's being moved to, how the ball is stripping it away.
These are the things that you learn about lane conditions over a period of time, but I'm talking years, not certainly not 5 minutes for new bowlers. And Phil's just ripping this rack apart now. That's 2 good looking shots. So say he's worked out an angle coming off at his break point, and certainly getting a bit locked and loaded. Well, you can
Turkey then,
his style that he's learnt this game, and only at age 20 he's got a great future in front of him. Very tall and rangy, very high backswing. Look at that. And he rips that ball off the wrist. Goes 4 in a row. Very nice too.
showing out for the crowd as well. He's enjoying this one. A lot of these bowlers will not have had the opportunity to showcase their talents on the TV before. Brooklyn strike then from...
But having said that, he's playing the middle of the lane, where the oil sort of accumulates. So he may well be putting the ball straight down into heavy oil.
Yeah, just...
Last one too. Makes 3 strikes in a row, so he's got a turkey. So we've got a bit of a match on now. 20 odd pins the difference.
That one didn't make it back. Went wide, stayed wide.
Yeah, just a single 4-pin. He'll accept that. It's an easy spare. Hard and straight with his spare ball. Not looking for any hooking or deviation. Straight at it. That's the quantum physics part of this game.
Nice work. It was a temporary blip on the right-hand lane. Phil back into that strike line.
Yeah, good looking game so far. 4 strikes in a row. No open frames. He's going to go through the 200 barrier here reasonably easily if he just keeps his head down.
Yeah, it's Phil's match to take now. Victor's out of it, and barring an absolute shocker from the young Dutchman, I think we'll see him advance into the next round to play another Russian, Sergei Andreev.
Yeah, Radar's been a bit skill-whiff in this game, I'm afraid. Needs to redirect. Probably a change of ball would be helpful for him, but he just hasn't kept the line consistent. He's been inside, he's been outside. Of course, repeatability is one of the things that you have to do to be a top bowler. Find your pocket line and repeat and repeat and repeat. 3 strikes in a row, open frame strike.
Decision-making process.
You look at your ball and see how it reacts. And if it's not doing what you want, you've got to then decide, well, was it me or was it the lane? So there's 2 elements that you've got to decide. Did I throw that ball perfectly correctly? And if I did, why didn't it react? Or was it the lane that's caused slight transition in the oil, and perhaps I'm going to have to make an adjustment to get it right in the pocket? Great looking shot from Phil there.
I couldn't agree with you more. He's looking every bit a potential champion here. To do that, he'll have to get past Sergei Andreev and Michael Haugen Jr. of the United States, the PBA exempt player. Oh, just a bit lucky there not to leave the 7-10. The messenger too slow to get across before the machine came down.
Yes, he very much looks an international player, doesn't he? And as I say, at 20 years of age, there's a great future ahead for him. No doubt gets out quite often on the European tour. And plays probably quite regularly against some of the PBA stars that come over from the States and play on the European tour now. When their close season is down in the States, they tend to travel a bit now, and it's great to see some real top-flight bowling in Europe nowadays.
That 10-pin bowling is getting on Eurosport. These PBA players are now household names.
Yeah, and it's great to see. I mean, when I was younger, they were just sort of names and pictures in books. You'd read about their victories, but you'd never see them. And of course now with the PBA Tour shown on Eurosport and around the world, as you say, they're household names, and you can pick them out of a lineup.
Another open frame for Victor, and I'm afraid...
Yeah, that's not enough, I'm afraid. 152 was his final score with 5 open frames. If he hadn't hit the turkey in the middle, he'd have only scored about 100, unfortunately. But this is the winner of this match, and he's going to progress. Looking good.
Looking to go comfortably past the 200 mark. Well, Brooklyn strike there, home and dry, and he will meet Sergei Andreev after the break. Forget the fact that was an open frame. Phil Hulst looking in good shape.